This is my Heybike Ranger S. It is a folding 1000 watt, 100 Newton meter torque e-bike that last year I took up the steepest hill we have here in Chicago that I'm able to find, and it has a 31% grade at the very top. Well, Heybike reached out and they said, you know what? We have something else that we believe that's gonna climb even better. So Heybike sent me the Heybike Alpha. Now this is a 26 by 4-inch fat tire e-bike. I mean, this thing is full size and it has a mid-drive motor, which is the first one that I will have tested in this configuration. But my question is, will it make it up that hill? I don't know. So let's get into it. When you get your Heybike Alpha, it's going to come to you as a Class 3 e-bike, which means we should get up to 28 miles an hour via this half-twist throttle here on the right-hand side, your 5 levels of pedal assist, and this torque sensor down below connected to your mid-drive. This bike weighs 71 pounds, but has a maximum payload capacity of 400 pounds. And during the making of this video, you can purchase the Heybike Alpha for only $15.99, and it comes with a 2-year warranty. Now, real quick, I want to point out that this is the first bike that has a mid-drive motor that is under $1,600. The Alpha comes in 2 different versions. It comes in a step-through, which only comes in white, which is great for riders who are 5'1" to 6'1". You can also get the step over like I have here, which is great for riders who are 5'3" to 6'3", and it only comes in this black version right here. Heybike says that the Alpha will go up to 60 miles on a single battery charge. With the abuse that I'm going to be putting it through today, I'm not really sure how far this bike is going to go. We have to start by talking about the crown jewel of this bike. That is this Galaxy Perform S e-drive motor. It is 48 volts, 500 watts with a maximum of 760 watts and 105 Newton meters of torque. It has an 8-speed transmission, an Altus derailleur, a 42-tooth chainring, and a half-twist throttle. For stopping power, you have 2-piston hydraulic brakes and 180 millimeter rotors. The front forks are hydraulic. They have 100 millimeters of travel. You can preload them and you can lock them out. The tires are by IVD. They are 26 by 4 inches. They have an all-terrain pattern on them, and they are puncture resistant. When it comes to the battery, well, it is hidden in the down tube right here. It does have a protective plate to hide it, and it is a 48 volt, 13.5 amp hours with 680 watts of power. Now, it will come with a 2 amp charger, which means it's going to take about 7 hours to charge the thing up from empty to full, and you can do it while it's on the bike with this charging port right here. Now, you don't have to leave it in the bike. You can take it off and charge it somewhere else. When it comes to removing the battery, it's going to be pretty simple. There is a tab right here that when you push it down, it's going to release this cover right here. And this cover is metal, which I like, so that's a good thing. And then just grab one of your 2 keys right here. You're going to put it in here. You're going to unlock it. It's going to pop your battery out a little bit more. And then you just hit this lever, pull your battery out, and now you can take it anywhere and charge it. It does have this power indicator right here to show you how much battery power the bike has. And it does have a carrying handle. And then you just put it back in, pull your key out at any point, put this back in here, and you're good to go. The Heybike Alpha has 2 UL certifications. One for the battery, which is UL 2271, and one for the bike, which is UL 2849. It also has an IPX4 rating, which means it can handle water splashing from any direction. Additional features include metal pedals, a single side chainring guard, a quick release seat post and padded seat, a rear rack, a bungee cord to hold down your stuff, mounting points for a water bottle or other accessories, and mounting points for a front rack. Let's talk about size and fit. Look guys, this is a big bike. When you look at the length of it, it is 76.77 inches in length. And you can do some adjustments to it. These bars are really flat and this doesn't have an adjustable stem, so you can't make any adjustments right here, but you can here in the seat area. Now, I'm gonna set it up for our shortest rider, and look, this seat can go way down. It goes way low, and that would be super easy to get on and off of. Now, I'm going to pull it up to our tallest rider. It does have numbers here on the back, so that does help for you to remember what your number is. And that is the height for your tallest rider, which really doesn't go up freakishly high like I've seen with other bikes before. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it down. For me, I believe it was right there. I am 5'9". I have a 32-inch inseam. I weigh 225 pounds, and this is what I'm going to look like riding this bike today. Now, just by looking at this, you have two great options. You have a folding e-bike that has 100 Newton meters of torque, which is basically the most powerful e-bike that I reviewed last year in 2024. As a matter of fact, it made it on my #1 folding e-bike for my best of 2024 review, not only because of this thing being able to fold, and I think it looks great, but it also has 100 Newton meters of torque on the back, making it the only bike that I rode up this 31-degree incline that wasn't all-wheel drive. Now, let's talk about the difference between these two bikes. They have two different versions of the Ranger S. Mine is the 1,000-watt version, so you have 1,000 watts here on the rear hub, and then you have this 500-watt motor here on the Heybike Alpha. You know, I've seen a couple other reviews about the Heybike Alpha and its climbing ability, so I'm excited to take this one out to see if the Heybike Alpha climbs just as well as the Ranger S. Cockpit Operations. On your left-hand side, you have this grip right here. It has a very minimal pattern. It doesn't feel that thick, but it also doesn't feel that bad. This is your front brake lever, and this is your control panel. To turn the bike on, you're going to push this orange button down here at the bottom until your screen lights up. This is your display. It is full color. I think it looks really good. Right here is going to show you your battery indicator, plus it's going to show your percentage. Then it's going to show you how fast you're going. Right over here, this purple area is going to come up and show you how much power is going to the bike. From there, you have your odometer and then your different pedal assist level. And then right underneath here is a USB port. To get more information out of the display, well, all you have to do is hit this M button right here. It's going to tell us our trip mileage, our max speed, our average speed, how many volts is from the battery, how many amps we're putting out, how many watts we're putting out. I mean, it gives us all kinds of stuff, the amount of time the bike's been on, and then it goes back to odometer. Now, to go up in pedal assist levels, there is a plus button right here. We're just going to hit it. It's going to take us all the way up to 5. You can hit it again. You can hit the minus button again, take you all the way down to 0. You have turn signals. To turn them on, you're just going to hit the indicators on here, which is either left or right. You can see it on the screen, so that's going to show up. We'll do it here on the right-hand side so you can see that as well. To turn them off, you just hit the button again. If you want to turn your headlight on, you're just going to hold down your plus button until your headlight comes on. The screen barely dims, and you get a headlight indicator. I do like that fact because I can still see this display clearly. To turn your headlight off, you're just going to hold that button again until it goes off. The bike also has a horn. Ooh, that is loud. This is your front headlight. As you can see, it has a nice single bulb right here, but I like the fact that Heybike lights up right here. And then these two yellow things right here, these are your turn signals. And I like it when bikes have turn signals on them, but I really like Heybikes because they have them on the front and the back. This is your rear tail light. As you can see, Heybike also lights up here in the back. This is what it looks like when you hit your brakes. And then this is what the turn signals look like from the rear. Now, whenever you turn your headlights off, well, the Heybike doesn't light up anymore, but your brake lights still work, and so do your turn signals. On your right-hand side, you have your half-twist throttle right here. Then you have your rear brake lever and your 8-speed shifter. Now, with this, you're just going to use your thumb to go down in gear and use your index finger to go up in gear. We're doing things a little bit different today. What I've done is I've gotten us close to Lakeshore Trail, and there is a reason for that. The battery in this bike is a lot smaller. It's only 13 amp hours, but I know it's a mid-drive. So here was my main concern. I wanted to make sure that I had enough battery power to hit this hill and have, enough juice to do it. I didn't want to do it with a battery that's not, full, or at least close to at least 50%. I need it to be at least 50% to attempt this hill. So I figured I would just bring the bike closer to Lakeshore Trail, and then we'll just take off from here. I want to reset the trip mileage, but everything I do doesn't reset it. So we're just going to take off with 11 miles. I'm sure it's in the manual. I forgot to bring it with me. So 11 miles is what we're starting off with when we are doing the distance test. I'm going to turn on Strava as well to see if these are going to match up. Whenever you take off on this bike, one thing you have to remember is that the throttle does not work from a dead stop. You have to start pedaling the bike, but since this is a mid-drive with a torque sensor, you feel the power immediately. It kicks on right out of the gate. Now let me go ahead and put this thing into pedal assist 0. There we go. We are riding in pedal assist 0 at the moment. Let's see how comfortable this is. You know what? I put it into gear 2. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. There we go. I kicked it up into gear 3. We're cruising at like 11 miles an hour. So that's not bad at all. Yeah, this bike is, I just went across that street with this bike in pedal assist zero. Totally rideable. I mean, obviously you're gonna feel the weight from it. It is a big bike. It does have fat tires on it. But at this point, we're in pedal assist zero, cruising at 14 miles an hour. And it's pretty comfortable. So maybe I should have went ahead and took off from the house, because this bike does feel pretty easy to ride without power. But we're gonna go ahead and put it into pedal assist 1. There we go. I feel that a little bit. Now the weird thing is, well, it's not weird, but the throttle is dictated to each pedal assist level as it is with other bikes, with it being a mid-drive. So let me see. We are cruising right now at 14 miles an hour in pedal assist number 1. But if I crank on it, oh, we shot up to 22 real quick. Oh, this mid-drive's got some spunk to it. Another thing that would have had me concerned about this battery is that it is cold out. It's gonna be in the 40s today, like mid 40s. And I'm not sure that, you know, we would have enough battery power to get it done, but I forget, man. It's been a while since I've ridden a mid-drive bike, and I just forget how efficient they are. Not very often do I get to start off the ride test downtown Chicago, and here we are. It's a cloudy day, but it is nice. I'm always a huge fan of this area right here. Let me go ahead, put it down into pedal assist 1, put it in a comfortable gear, which is gear 6, and we're cruising at 15 miles an hour. And I know that if I kick down on it, we're gonna shoot up really quick. But if I was to use the throttle is gonna keep us, and we were doing like 14, 15 miles an hour. The throttle is gonna keep us at that 15 miles an hour. So let's go ahead and put it into pedal assist number 2. Well, it's taking us back down to 15 miles an hour. Oh, now, okay, so I start to feel it kick in. So now it's going, and now it's moving us a little farther faster. No, we're still at 15 miles an hour. Well, felt like we were moving faster. All right, let's go for pedal assist number 3. I'm cruising at 18 miles an hour. But if I use the throttle again and just let the throttle do its thing, well, it's taking me back down to 15 miles an hour. So I wonder if this thing is just, the throttle is locked out at 15, which, since you can't use it from the takeoff, the throttle, it's more of an assist. It's not really, you know, the only time I even use a throttle, I feel like, is whenever I'm taking off from a dead stop, especially if you have a heavier bike. Now, this is a mid-drive, so taking off from a stop is going to be a lot easier because we'll get direct power at the very moment that we do it. But I do like how this bike, how the mid-drive feels as we are pedaling it. This is nice. You know, with that motor being in the middle and it's not providing any power from the rear, it's smooth. It is very smooth. Let's go ahead and take a look at the speedometer versus the display. As you can see, we are 2 miles slower than what the display is showing. So now that makes me wonder what our top speed's gonna be. Now that we know that the display is 3 miles off, let's go ahead and do a top speed test. I wanna see how fast we can get this thing going. As you can see, I have a lot of room. We will be able to get this bike up to full speed. We're gonna use the speedometer though to tell us exactly what our high speed is. So let's go. I mean, it launches forward quick. We hit 20 way back there. Oops, wrong gear. Let's get it up in gear. It says 29, 30, showing that we're doing 30 miles an hour. Can I get 31 out of it? 31? No. 30.6 is the fastest, which means this bike's only moving 27 miles an hour. Now, we can't do a 0 to top speed using throttle because we know that that throttle's pretty weak. It's only going to get you 15 miles an hour anyways. But yeah, breathing heavy because I had this thing cranking. All right, now we're going to see how quick I can get to that 27 miles an hour. All All right, now here's one thing about a mid-drive. It doesn't like it when you are like putting a lot of torque and then just cranking through the gears. You kind of have to think about it, let off, then do it. I'm just gonna go for it. So if you hear some clanking, yeah, that's not good. Don't make that a thing. Don't make that your hobby. All right, and I'll show you better how to ride with this bike here in a minute. All right, here we go. Ah, there we go. Let's see how fast it takes us. I mean, we're scooting. We're already over 20 miles an hour. Let's go. We are in the second highest gear, and boom, 30 miles an hour or 27 in like 14 seconds. Oh, that's fast. You're gonna feel it on your legs though. One thing you need to do is remember to downshift whenever you are coming up to a stop. Now, one thing I've noticed with this bike is that the gearing on it is really good. And what I mean by that is I hit 30 miles an hour before I was even in gear 8. So I don't see any reason why there would be ever any ghost pedaling with this bike. Some bikes seem to have an issue holding a higher speed, but with this mid-drive, well, oh, bumpy, bumpy. It's a hardtail. It'll remind you every now and again. But we are comfortably cruising and holding 27 miles an hour right now. So let's talk real quick about what it's like to ride a mid-drive. And I'm gonna see if I can get it to clunk so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But if you're riding the bike and you're in a certain gear, then what they like you to do to protect the motor, and all this to protect the motor, the same reason that it doesn't start from a throttle is to protect the mid-drive motor. And like right now we have it into gear 5 and we're just not putting a whole lot of pressure on the pedals. But if I was to crank hard and shift gears, let me see, this is what it should sound like. Oh, did you hear that? That was not good. It was not happy when it made that switch in between the gears. So the goal is to do it without making that noise. All right, so we're cruising right along. I'm gonna relax the pressure that I'm putting on the pedals, switch the gear. See, I just switched the gear and you didn't hear anything. I feel it, you didn't hear it, and it didn't hurt the transmission or the gearing. It likes it when you do that. So either, I mean, a couple of options is just don't put any pressure on the cranks, shift gears. I just shifted it down a gear, I'll shift it down another. And you can do it very smoothly, and that is the ideal way to do it for your mid-drive motor. When I'm riding on a gravel road like this, this bike feels like it definitely wants to hit something way more challenging. One thing I've noticed, the horn button is not in the most convenient spot. Unlike having a bell that you can put over here on your right-hand side and just ding, you have to look down and think about where you're putting that thumb to hit the horn. So ideally, probably just gonna put a bell on this bike. Hello, thank you. I mean, we do know the horn works, but I had to look down to use it. I want you guys to focus on this power meter right here on the right-hand side in purple. When I start to push down, you can see how it goes up to the top, and that's basically telling me when to shift. There we go, we shifted, and then we let it climb again, and then we shift and it goes back to the bottom. Here it is, guys. Here is the hill. Normally I test bikes out on the hill of pain. This is the hill of despair. This goes from 0 to 31% grade all in a short distance. Now I put this thing into pedal assist number 5. I've dropped it down to gear 2. That should be good enough to make it up the hill. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, see here. Oh, let's go. Oh, we're making it. We're making it. It's getting real steep now. Real steep. And the most steep right here. Oh, this thing, I'm not even breaking a sweat making it up here like that. That was awesome. This bike made it up without any problem at all. I'm just gonna do that one more time just to make sure that that was as easy as I felt like it was. Like I'm not pedaling that fast right now. And we're just moving. We're making it up. All right, I'm gonna have to put both hands on the bars now. But I'm not picking up my pace at all. And we're just creeping up. But look at that, 31% grade right there. Woo, bring the wheel up. Yeah, baby. This is one heck of a hill climber. If you live in a city that has a lot of hills, yeah, this one's gonna be ideal. And we still got 100% battery. And we've gone 6 miles. Now, you know, I was impressed with the Heybike Ranger S, considering that it was a hub drive and it did have 100 Newton meters of torque, and that's why we made it up. But this was even easier with that 105 Newton meters of torque. I don't even think I accessed all of it in the process. I think that I might have had, well, maybe I did have 105%. It just didn't feel like it. And that is a good thing. So if you have a lot of hills, man, where you live, this thing's gonna climb them. And we still have 100%. It's gonna do it efficiently. All right, guys, it is time for the brake test. We are gonna get this bike all the way up to the, well, 30 miles is what they show. And then we're gonna slam on the brakes and see how fast this bike is gonna stop. Whoa, right at 30 feet, maybe 31. Oh, so not only does this bike climb hills, but man, it'll stop too. Why do it once when we could do it twice? I just want to see if it's consistent. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, it's the same distance. Ah, this bike stops. You know, maybe it's because it doesn't have that hub motor in the back that's slowing it down. I mean, we're at 31 feet again. So, yeah. Let's go put some miles on this thing, see if we can find a beach. You wouldn't think it, but it is pretty easy to find a beach here in Chicago. And right here is another one. I haven't been out to this one before, but we do have this nice boardwalk. So we're gonna use the boardwalk, and then we're just gonna pull off into the sand, see what happens. And I mean, just the power immediately comes on. And holy, are you kidding me? Okay, so here's what's going on right now. I am riding this bike the easiest I ever have on sand when it comes to any bike, especially a fat tire bike. This thing is extremely easy to ride on sand. And I know I said before that if you like lived in the mountains and you had a lot of hills, but if you live in a real beachy area and you want to take your bike out on the sand, this is going to be the easiest thing to do it. Now, it has rained. Okay, so this sand is a little packed down some, but guys, if I'm spending this little effort pedaling through the sand, here we go, there's some thick stuff, and I'm still making it, then what do you think is gonna happen whenever, you know, you're just wanting to go to the beach and just ride it out? I mean, this thing is doing it. I don't even know what to say about this bike. So not only is it an amazing climber, but it is amazing in the sand as well. And here we are, we're just cruising around. It's probably the most time I've spent on the sand on any bike, because it's like nothing for this thing. You know, I'm super impressed. I mean, how could you not be? I'm riding this like it is no big deal. You know, let's kick it up in some gears here and just head on out into the breeze. So there wasn't that much difference between riding this bike in the sand and riding it on this concrete right here on this boardwalk. I mean, I'm flabbergasted. That's a word. I'm wondering what that's going to look like when closed captions come up when I say flabbergasted. Beautiful shot of the skyline here of Chicago. You can always get a great view of the skyline no matter where you are. I feel like if you're anywhere near the beach or the trail, you're always going to get a good shot of Chicago. This bike is impressive. We're just going to jump right off the... Yoo-hoo! All right, Heybike. You guys were talking this bike up, and now I understand why. I know this bike is going to do excellent off-road, but I just, you just want to take it off-road every chance I can get now, because I know it's excellent in all of that. Now, the front forks, they're working good as well. I mean, we are just tearing through this trail right here. And this, if you have trails like this, this will be a fun bike to take it on. Oh, little hill right here, but it's not going to matter for this bike. Boom, right on up it, no problem. And then we cruise right at the end of the trail. Holy cow, that was fun. You might have to do that. Oh, wait, there's more to the trail. Let's go. I have no idea where this leads to. I'm going to guess the lake, though. Well, what is this thing? All right, here's where it doesn't matter how many times I've been on this trail. I always find something interesting. You can have a nice little fire right here. Everybody sit and powwow around. Get a great view of the lake. Oh man, I'm digging it. In the summertime, I don't even see these from all the greenery. Man, this is turning out to be a great day. Look at that view of Chicago right there. All right, now check out the riding position on this bike. These handlebars are straight, but it doesn't have you hunched over in a racing position. You can sit totally up and down like it is no big deal. And this is a pretty comfortable ride. I am impressed by how this bike is performing. I think you guys can tell that. I mean, it surprised me. It surprised me a couple times. If you are somebody that uses a throttle an awful lot, this bike is not going to be the one for you. But if you are a person that just wants to ride a bike that you can take anywhere and you don't care about the throttle, this is a solid option for sure. We are riding in the direct sun, and I can see everything on this display very clearly. I mean, from the percentage to the battery to everything, there's not a single thing on here that is too small to where I'm having an issue seeing it. We are heading back. It shows that we are at 50%, but we only have 2 bars. But now the funny thing is when we take off and it starts pulling from the battery, you're going to watch it drop a lot. Like it already dropped down to 15%. Let's see if we can get it to look 9% as we are cranking up in speed. And most people would probably freak out. You're like, oh no, I'm almost out of battery. But once again, if I let off, it's going to start coming back up. This is the only real issue that I see with this bike, is being able to track how much battery power you have left. I want to show you a benefit of having a mid-drive motor. Let's say you got a flat tire. Now we won't, because I have a flat out in my tire, so I've never had a flat tire with flat out in there. But let's say you do. Normally with hub drives, you're gonna have to unplug a wire. It's gonna be heavy and it's difficult to pull the tire off. But with this, it's just like a normal bicycle. You can just take it off and take it into any bike shop and they will fix the tire for you. Some companies don't even want to work on an e-bike, but this one, just take in the tire or the rim and they'll switch it out. Let's go ahead and check out the walk feature while we're at it. Let me see, we have it in pedal assist 5. Will it work in that, or do we have to have it in 0? Let's see, we're holding down on the button. And yes, the walk feature is working. There's a little person right here. He shows up for the walk feature. And it is a nice pace. We are not having to run to keep up with it or anything like that. So the speed right now is 2.7 miles, which 2.6, 2.7, that's about where it hangs up. I do want to tell you though, if you touch the screen, it starts doing weird stuff. So don't do it. I mean, it comes back, but you touch it and it just kind of gets gooey, and then it comes back and sharp and clear again. Right now, it is showing that we have 0% battery power left. I know that that is not correct. And well, at least I'm hoping it's not. Let's go ahead and maybe kick it down a gear. I'm going to leave it in pedal assist number 5. We've been doing that this entire trip. And let me see what happens if I let off some. All right, we've taken some pressure off the pedals. It's going to tell us our true battery percentage. So it looks like 20, around 20, 21%. All right, that should be enough to get us back to the car. This battery has been at 0 for a while. And it's just now, I can just now start to feel like it not giving me all the power. So we're starting to slow down. I'm starting to have to put more effort into it or lower a gear. Actually, it feels pretty good right now, so I just up the gear again. I mean, we're cruising in gear 7. I don't really have to cruise in gear 8 unless you decide you want to hold that 27 to 30 mile an hour speed limit. That's where you're going to end up keeping in gear 8. I mean, this bike is geared extremely well. So hopefully we'll have enough battery power to make it. Now, normally when it's reading 0, I'm just going to coast and see what the battery percentage is showing. Last time I looked, it showed it like 24%. I am coasting, and guys, it is still at 0. You know, I'm going to take a look at some of the settings to see how many actual, I forgot that I can check to see how many volts the battery has, and it's showing 39.3. Now, if I looked at my chart, which I don't need to because anytime it drops below 40, you are at 0%. So we're just going to move over from there. And the bike is giving us 78 watts right now. This is good information to have. I probably should have remembered about it and did it earlier. Maybe I wouldn't have been doing some of the stuff that I was doing. Who am I kidding? You know I'd be doing that stuff. If you look at the screen, it's saying error, error. And I'm like, yeah, I messed up. I messed up. I don't need the display to remind me. If you guys want a good workout, run the battery or put it on pedal assist 0 right into the wind. That will be a leg smoker. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. Let's go. That was a workout, but we have the Alpha connected back to the car, and then I'm gonna go home, give you guys my final thoughts. I have made it back, and I have to tell you, this bike surprised me a lot. It did. It really did. Now, I did have to ride this bike a couple of miles without any battery power to make it back to the car, and I have to tell you, that's a leg smoker because I was riding into the wind. Now, when it came to the mileage on the Alpha, well, the display showed that we went 35 miles, but we started off with 11. So that means we went 24 miles during our ride today. I took a look at Strava. Strava showed that we went 22.78. Now, if you guys remember, the display was showing that we were going faster than what we actually were when we used the GPS. So because of that, it's going to show that you went farther. Now, it's not that much of a difference, about 2.5 miles, but it does show a difference. So just keep that in mind. This thing is a monster hill climber, but so is this. Right? You have this rear hub motor that has 100 Newton meters of torque. You have this mid-drive motor that has 105 Newton meters of torque. So if you want a folding fat tire e-bike, well then this one's going to make it up the hills. But if you want a full-size 26 by 4 inch fat tire bike with a mid-drive, well, it's also going to make it up the hills. Both of these bikes have torque sensors, so that's one of the good reasons. They both have big fat tires, so they're also excellent on the sand, although this one has to be the easiest that I have put on the sand when it comes to a fat tire e-bike. That is not a dual drive. Those dual drives, you just can't beat that. There's a couple of things that I'm like, if you're looking for a bike with a throttle, all right, this is not going to be it. Right? I didn't use the throttle after I showed it in the review, but I also felt I didn't need it. So, you know, you just have to remember to just downshift when you're coming up to a stop, and then you just upshift as you're riding. For me, it was very easy. It was very natural. I don't think this bike needs a throttle at all because I didn't find much use in it. I would also like it if they figured out how to have this battery reading read correctly. I mean, whenever this motor is drawing power, it really does drop down what it shows on the display. But they do have the voltage on here that I forgot to look at until we basically ran out of power. So it does have the voltage, it does have the watts, it does have the amperage. It gives you everything you need to know. I just forgot to do it because I figure, like a normal rider, you're going to be looking at the battery indicator at the top. Now look, both of these Heybikes are really good if you live in a mountainous area, if you live in an area with a lot of sand and you want to take them on the beach. You really can't go wrong with either one of these two. Now, if you are interested in either the Heybike Ranger S or your Alpha right here, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below, and it's going to take you right where you need to be. If I have any discounts, I'm going to throw those down there as well. Plus, prices change. To be honest, I don't even know what the price of this is right now. So if you're curious, click on that link below, and that'll show you the latest pricing. Now, if you've realized that the Heybike Alpha is not for you, but you want to learn more about the Heybike Ranger S, well, I've done a full review with it as well. And if you want to, you can see it. It's going to be right there. Right there is where you need to go if you want to learn more about this bike. But guys, thank you for coming with me on this ride. I want to thank you for watching. And until I see you again, enjoy the ride.